Welcome into the New Orleans Saints podcast presented by Rouse's Markets. I'm Erin Summers. Happy to be joined by safety Justin Reid today for this episode right here on the Gulf Coast Sports and Entertainment Network. Justin, you're from Louisiana, and now you get to call the Superdome your home stadium. How surreal is that?
Oh man, it's huge. I mean, I had so much fun running out there. I'm still waiting on when it's my turn to kick off the Who Dat chant. Still waiting on that. Kellen, I know you're going to be watching this later. But it's been a surreal experience. I have like 20 to 30 family members come to every game. It's a ton of fun.
I was going to ask you how many. It's just an hour drive.
Yeah, it's quick.
So
quick.
Each game you've had 20 people here.
Yeah, at a minimum. Yeah, I had family. Some of my family from Maryland flew in for some. Of course, I have my immediate family that's all in Baton Rouge and some in New Orleans, and my sisters in Lafayette, and they all come down. And I actually got a text message from them that it's been cool for my immediate family as a bonding experience because they're hanging out more than they ever have before.
Yeah, it's like a family reunion every Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome. We're going to get them a win here soon, right? And you said that the team's been taking strides each week. What have the strides that the team's taken been to you?
Yeah, I mean, there's always a learning curve when you come into a building where everything around you is new. Half the team is new. The coaching staff is new. You're putting in a new scheme. You're getting to know your teammates, build that chemistry. And there's going to be some growing pains as far as getting the scheme executed in a game plan, in a game format. It's a little different, a little more fast-paced than what practice is, but you see things getting ironed out. And reviewing the tape these last two games, it's like we're not far off, but that's what the NFL is. You know, the NFL games are always so close, and you got to find a way to steal 2 or 3 plays here and there, and that makes a difference between winning and losing. And we're close, but we need to make those plays. One
area that hasn't been the strength of the team so far is third down efficiency. As far as the opponent goes, they're sitting at 50%. There's a lot that goes into it, but what is the key to lowering those numbers?
Yeah, we just got to take advantage of the situation. I mean, we are dominating first and second down, completely dominating it. And we get in these third and long situations, and unfortunately, we've allowed the other team to capitalize on it and be able to get first downs and extend drives. So really, it's not that we're far off. It's not like there's coverage busts or anything like that. It's about just finding the way to strain a little bit harder, maybe create a little more pressure on the quarterback so that he has to make a decision quicker. But at the end of the day, it's just, you got to find a way to win it. You know, it doesn't have to be pretty. It just needs to be done.
You said that you need to ramp up the intensity a little bit more to get to that point where the games are coming out with wins.
Mm-hmm.
What does that mean to just ramp up the intensity? Is it more preparation, more study time? Does it look different for each person?
Yeah, it is. It is a little bit of a two-man type of conversation. You know, some guys need more film work. Some guys who have film work just need better preparation. Like, are you coming into the game fully hydrated? I mean, you live in Louisiana. You're not going to be able to play a game if you're dehydrated and you're feeling like a little bit sluggish on game day, right? So what does your game day prep look like? I mean, if your practice week looks good, you need to be able to carry that to Sunday. And some of it is just like little mental mistakes here and there, and, you know, a small difference in, hey, whether I'm outside leverage or inside leverage, or I end up in the B gap when I should be in the A gap. Any of those little things oftentimes make the difference. And you don't know when that game-changing play is going to happen. But if you're always prepared and you're always living in the moment, things tend to fall in your favor. You know, some call it luck and some call it preparation.
Mm-hmm. Talk about intensity now, but training camp, there were some fun moments, and I'm sure there's still fun moments throughout the season. And one was when rookie Jonas Sanker came up to the podium, and you and Julian Blackman led him to the podium, asked him questions. Whose idea was that?
So, hey, me and Drew at the same time. At the same time, we heard that it was Saints Day. We were like, all right, we're gonna go have some fun with this. One of the best things that I've enjoyed doing is helping build a culture. And you know, my first season in the league, like, we had a room in the DB room that felt a little bit split, like it was like the haves and have-nots a little bit. And it's always been very personal to me that any room that I stepped into as a leader in that room, I want it to be, it doesn't matter if you're a practice squad, if you're a starter, whatever it is, we're all going to be one group. We're going to be boys. I want it to feel as much like college as possible, where we all hang out on and off the field. We know each other personally. We know each other's partners. We know each other's kids, that and everything. So part of that was just that, having some fun with it. And Jonas did a good job taking that in stride, and we hit him with some hard-hitting questions.
Yeah, you guys did. It was very entertaining.
Yeah.
As far as Jonas goes, getting his first start early on here as a rookie, what have you seen from his ability to handle that?
Yeah, I mean, physically, he's got everything you ever want in a safety. I mean, he's fast, he's intelligent, he's a willing tackler, he makes his reads correctly. Some things are just experience on things that he can clean up and play even better, even faster. I thought he did a hell of a job for his first time out there, but there's a ton of ways that we can help turn him into an even more dynamic player and playmaker, because that's just part of the intensity conversation earlier. It doesn't matter what you've done, what can you do more? You know what I mean? Because there needs to be more done on the field. But the most important thing is he has the right head on his shoulders. He's a good kid, has great character. He plays hard. He plays the game the right way. And, he wants to get better, and he will continue to get better.
You were just telling me that you're spending a lot of time with him right now. What is that looking like? What are you pointing out for him?
Yeah, some of it is just teaching him how to watch film. Like, we watch film in meeting rooms, and, some coaches have their perspectives on it. But we get inundated with so much information that when it comes to game day, you got to make it digestible. You know what I mean? You got to be able to use that information, because if there's too much, you're not processing any of it, then you're not using any of it, right? So we have some film sessions where I just teach him how to watch film and how to take what information is relevant to him and what information isn't relevant to him. It's like, hey, you might have this tip, but in a defensive scheme that we play, that doesn't actually apply to you. You wouldn't be able to make a play on any of those plays anyway. So it'd be good for you if you get to a point where you can handle more information, you can remember and mind others. But right now, hey, these tips right now apply to you. It applies to things that you'll see in the game, and it'll help you play the game a step faster. So it's just about filtering information and just trying to speed up his thinking so that he can see the game more cleanly.
The first year here with the Saints, and you were named a captain. And even now, just listening to you, the way you're talking about how much you care about bringing people around you, I can see why you were named a captain. But how much pride do you take in that?
I mean, huge. I mean, football is the greatest team sport ever, and I've never been a selfish guy to where it's like I'm worried about, the next man or anything like that. I want every person around me to be great. I want every person around me to earn a big payday. I want every person around me to be all pro. Doesn't matter what side of the ball you're on, offense or defense. But I have a high standard for myself, and I have a high standard for everyone else. And, what you need in a true team setting is you need everybody. And, the years that I've had my best seasons, guys go down. That's a 100% fact on every team. Guys are going to get hurt. But it's about, is the next man ready to come and step in, and there's not a drop off in performance from that guy to the next man. And that doesn't just happen in 1 week. That's built through the entire season, through an entire year. And you have to have them ready for that moment when their number is called. So it's very impersonal to me to prepare everyone around me. I want to lead by example, but I also want to lead by having every man around me confident to go out there and play the game fast, physical, and free.
This weekend, heading to Seattle, going a couple days early. You said it's going to be good for bonding.
Yeah.
It's what they talked about a lot during training camp and the off-season time. You just mentioned it, meeting people personally.
Yeah.
What kind of stuff are you going to do?
I think Coach Kellen has something planned for us. I think we might be doing something on a lake with a boat. I don't know all the details, but I think that'll be really cool to get the team together and be able to have those experiences that you get to bond with your teammates and know guys on a deeper level, because it's important. And when you're on the field and you're locking arm in arm with your brothers going into war against whoever your opponent is, and you got to look a man in his eye and tell him that, hey, I know you have more. I need more out of you. It's those bonding moments that have guys trust and believe in each other. And it's like, hey, I'll give you everything I got. I'll give you the shirt off my back. I'll give you my blood, sweat, and tears. Whatever it is, I'll give it to you. You know what I mean? And it takes those bonding moments to be able to actually reach that point, to be able to take down in the game. So I think it's awesome. I think it's going to be a ton of fun, and it'll be a unique experience.
Have you played, and I'm assuming you have, at Lumen Field before?
This is actually the first time.
Really?
Yeah. Now, I watched the NFC Championship game when my brother was playing for the 49ers against the Seahawks. Seahawks unfortunately won that one. That was
So you were there.
2013 season,
You were there
2014. Yeah, I was there in the stands.
Okay.
But I've never played on the field. Yeah, so this would be a unique experience for me. I think this is the last stadium that I have not played in.
That's kind of a cool little bucket list right there.
Yeah.
You'll be able to check it off.
Mm-hmm.
Was it loud when you were there as a fan?
Yeah, it was pretty loud. It was. I mean, it was an NFC Championship game.
Yeah.
Two rivals with the 49ers and Seahawks. It was crazy.
All right. Well, we are going to catch up a little bit more with Justin Reid on his journey to the NFL on the other side of this break. So stay with us right here on the Gulf Coast Sports and Entertainment Network. Welcome back to the New Orleans Saints podcast presented by Rouse's Markets. Erin Summers alongside Justin Reid. Take me back to Friday Night Lights. What were they like at Dutchtown High?
You know what? I just went to a Friday Night Lights last week. I watched Country Day because it was right around the corner for me, and you know, it really took me back. I went into the locker room and talked to those kids at halftime to juice them up. They're in a tight battle against whoever they're playing with. And I was like, hey, listen, like, this is like, you guys got to keep doing this. This has been working. This is what we got to clean up. And then those kids ended up winning that game. But it was so cool just watching the game be so pure. Like, guys are out there playing for the love of the game. There's no social media or, you know, this, that, and another. It's just guys playing football, playing the sport they love with the kids that they grew up with. And, you know, that took me back to my playing days at Dutchtown, to where I remember my friends, and I remember the Friday night staying after school. I remember wearing my jersey to class on Fridays and feeling cool that way. And then whatever was the team dinner that we had, we used to play the Santa Maria Gators, and that day we used to actually eat gator. So that was a pretty cool experience. So man, it's a cool experience. Friday Night Lights are the best. I love going to watch high school games and seeing kids play their heart out.
Did you ever have an NFL player come give you guys your halftime like pep talk and what you needed to do?
No, we didn't have that. So that's why, you know, for me, it's like I still get to be that for other people. But I did get to, you know, go in the locker room, well, after the game, not halftime, for my brother's games and stuff like that, which is cool for me.
Growing up, football was in the blood. Your mom, your brother. How did you blaze your own path?
Yeah, you know what? It was pretty hard because they set the bar so hard. You know, for those who don't know, my mom was a middle linebacker in the IWFL, Women's International Women's Football League. I think it was the Baton Rouge Wildcats. Yeah, she's fierce. But you know, I always, like, growing up, me and my brothers are all competitive. To this day, we compete at everything. Like, we don't let each other win anything. We want to have those wins, have that bragging rights. So when we were coming up in sports, like, it was always, okay, whatever my brother Ryan and whatever my brother Eric, whatever they did, okay, when I'm the same age, I got to make sure I'm doing more than that. Like, whatever this is, I got to do at least one better than that. You know what I mean? So it was a cool means of comparison. And Eric set the bar high. He was high school All-American. Went to LSU, ended up being a first-round draft pick. And he had, I had a long list of accolades. And for me, it was just about, okay, we're very similar, but we're different. Like, I won't ever be him. I can be the best version of me. And we have a lot of overlap. I was a little bit faster. But you know what I mean? Like, yeah. we just gotta make it your own way. And when it came to picking a college, I grew up on LSU. Still bleed purple and gold deep down inside. I love it. But it just was the right decision for me to go out to Stanford. And it helped that he was down the street playing for the 49ers. So that was also cool.
What were the games like in the backyard between everybody?
I mean, which games? We did everything. We did basketball games. We played pickup basketball with Eric had a friend down the street named Scott. And Scott had a little brother who was the same age as me named Cedric. And we used to play games and pick up basketball games against each other. Me and my brother Ryan would play pickup soccer games. We used to skateboard, like literally everything. I was on a swim team, baseball, like whatever it was. Like, my parents had a garage just filled with sports stuff, and we just, kind of, as the year went on, whatever season it was, we take it out and we just go and do that.
Back in May, you tweeted that football is the best job on planet Earth.
Yeah.
Why? I
mean, it absolutely is, because I don't really work. You know what I mean? I would do this legitimately for free. That helps that, is a very fruitful job and allows me to do so many other things, giving back to the community, set my family up financially, have a ton of cool experiences that I would never in my life could have imagined having if it wasn't for football. And then at the end of the day, I get to, go on a field with my brothers and go play a kid's game, and have a ton of fun doing it. And you know what I mean? It's like that sense of pureness of there's no hiding when you're on the field. Doesn't matter what your background is, doesn't matter anything about your demographics. Like, it's just players on the field, numbers, right? And it's about calling your shot, making plays, having fun with it. And it's just a very pure sport. You get honest feedback. There's no gray. If you did a good job, if you didn't do a good job, and you know it pretty immediately, and all that's pretty nice.
You're a very happy-go-lucky guy. You're happy-go-lucky. What? Yeah, right? Happy-go-lucky guy.
Happy-go-lucky.
You're a very happy-go-lucky guy. Always smiling. Yes. There has to have been some challenging moments along the way.
Yeah, of course. I mean, everybody's has stories of adversity. But I'm an optimist. I look at things half empty, and even when adversity strikes, I see it as an opportunity to overcome something hard. You know what I mean? And be something to add to my journey, because no one can relate to a story to where everything's just always going right. You don't know if your partner or your friends or anything that's happening around you, you don't know if that friendship or partnership is really real until you have some adversity to go through, that you was like, hey, we survived this together. So like, it makes you stronger. You know what I mean? So nothing's real whenever everything's going right. Like, everything is actually real and true whenever you're going through the hard stuff. And I've had my fair share of injuries and setbacks. And when I was in college, my coach didn't think that I would be a man coverage player. And then I worked man coverage with our best 2 wide receivers for an entire offseason, and then I ended up being a team starting nickel, and I played man a ton of downs. I was a nickel my sophomore year in the NFL because of my coverage skills, right? So I always take everything as a challenge. Setbacks are just opportunities to do something great and have a new accomplishment from it. So that's my perspective on it. What's
the best advice that you have ever gotten?
Well, a couple of things. One, if it's worth doing, it's worth doing 110%. If you're not going to put everything into it, don't do it at all. You know what I mean? Because you are what your resume speaks for. And then 2 is just about honest feedback. Seeking honest feedback, but also equally giving honest feedback. And in a respectful way. It's not that you're attacking anyone, but like, I feel like we as people, especially in performance-driven sports or industries, is like, you need feedback. The worst thing you can do to somebody is have them floating in space and not know where they sit and where they are. So being able to communicate effectively in a very respectful way, but to get across information that still builds a team and doesn't, separate anybody, I think that's really important.
Who do you get feedback from now? I mean, you've done so much at the highest level.
I mean, I'm always seeking feedback. I seek feedback from Coach Kellen. I see feedback from Coach Staley. I see feedback from TJ. I seek feedback from Jonas. Like, hey, is the way that I'm teaching and showing you film, is it useful to you? You know what I mean? Am I doing this in a way that makes sense to you? Is there, you know what I mean? Let me know if like this stuff doesn't matter to you or not. But it's like, there's a quote that was on our practice field at Stanford that said, if you're not getting better, you're getting worse. You know what I mean? Which I think is 100% true. You never stay the same. You never stay in one spot. So if you think that you're content in sitting, you're actually getting worse. Yeah. Right? So, and whatever I'm doing, I just want to continue to get better at it.
And you do a lot on and off the field. So we're going to go there next, off the field with Justin Reid. Stick with us right here in the Gulf Coast Sports and Entertainment Network. Back on the New Orleans Saints podcast, Justin Reid here alongside myself, Erin Summers. Thanks for joining us. All right, as soon as you got here, you jumped right into the community. It is huge for you, the philanthropy. You have your own foundation, organization, and J. Reid Indeed. A lot of it is based around tech and STEM.
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah, well, a couple of reasons. Like when I went from high school to Stanford University, I felt like a fish out of water. I felt so far behind. Stanford forces you to take 2 tech classes, 2 coding classes. Doesn't matter what your major is. English, history, doesn't matter. You're taking 2 coding classes. And there's a couple of things I learned from the jump from high school to college, and then, somewhat forcibly doing that was that, number one, I actually ended up being pretty good at it, and I would have never known if I was good at it if I wasn't exposed to it. So one of our pillars in my foundation is just exposure in general. Like, you have to see it to know if you like it or you don't like it. And if you don't like it, that's also okay, but you don't know what you don't know, right? So we want to expose you to that. And then number two is, the kids that I grew up with in Prairieville, Louisiana, and the kids that I was going to school with, politicians' kids, kids that have done these tremendous accolades, at the root of who they are, really, they're not very different. You know what I mean? And a lot of it is honestly just access, resources, exposure. And I recognize that, I was able to take a step back and recognize that. So when I was fortunate enough to be in a position that I could give back and have a bit of influence in the community, especially the younger generation, I wanted to leverage that to be able to do something cool. And it's like, give them life skills, because unfortunately, not every kid is going to be able to make it in professional athletics, but every kid can still have a dream and be able to produce a life for themselves that allows them to live the life that they want to live. And I just want to be able to equip them with some skills that'll be useful for them in whatever career field. So my foundation focuses a ton on STEM. Most specifically, we want to expose the kids to new environments, new situations, to get their brains thinking in ways that's different than how it's thinking now. And then secondly, we want the kids to be proficient in Excel, because I feel like if you know how to work an Excel document proficiently, you can get a job anywhere in the country, anywhere in the world, really.
You used one of your hobbies to win some money for your foundation.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. You're a little Blitz champ, back-to-back champ, to chess tournament with all NFL players. You won $30,000, went to your J. Reid Indeed Foundation.
Yep.
What do you love about chess?
You know what? Chess, life, football, all of it's so synonymous, because it's like you enter a game, everything's square, and then you have a game plan, and things will very rarely go exactly according to the plan, the way you think it is. But you can see some of the moves that your opponent is making, so you make moves that both counteract what you think they're planning to do, but also set you up for your own attack. And anytime you can do a two for one, defend a move and attack them at the same time, that usually puts you in an advantageous position. That's the same thing with football. That's the same thing with life. Finding ways to make one move but accomplish multiple things at the same time with that one move. So I like that it keeps me stimulated. I like that it keeps me calm, in that when the game comes, like, it's an emotional sport, and it's very easy to let your emotions take over. So I usually do my warm-up, and then before the game starts, I'll play a couple of games of online chess, just to bring myself back to a peaceful state where my mind is thinking clearly and it's thinking quickly. And that helps me get me ready for the game. And then and then lastly, I just like to do things that I like to do, and if I can find a way to make money off of doing things that I enjoy anyway, and do something good with it for a good cause, then I think that's just wins all around.
Is the way you play on the football field dependent on how those pregame chess matches go?
No, it's completely independent. But I am a physical player that I hope some of our Saints fans out there have noticed so far. I don't need any reason to go and hit anybody harder. I'm already trying to hit people as hard as I possibly can.
Yeah, you love that physicality.
Yeah, I live for it.
Is it just because you were, I don't know, fighting with your brothers growing up, and it's just what you've been doing?
You know what? Maybe that is. I never thought of it that way, but maybe there's something to that, because I couldn't compete with them physically back then, but I can compete with them now.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Like, sometimes I'll be like, hey, I weigh the most now, so in a way, I'm the big brother.
Mm-hmm. You are. Yeah. But you do have a little girl now.
I do.
So how has that? She's about to be 8 months.
Mm-hmm.
How has that changed you?
My dad used to tell me that it's like, I have 10 nieces and nephews, but there's nothing like your own child, and seeing the way that this little human, looks up at you and is just so attached to you, and the way their eyes light up just when you walk in the room. It doesn't matter. They don't know what's going on in your life, but they just like to be around and be close to you. It's such a special feeling.
Yeah.
And we're finally sleeping through the night now.
Perfect.
So that's a win. That's a big time win. Yeah.
I saw her in all her gear. She was out at the Saints game too.
Yeah. She comes and supports.
There you go. Thank you so much for joining me on the podcast today. It's been awesome catching up
absolutely.
with you as always. I appreciate it so much. And thank you to everybody tuning in. It's been the New Orleans Saints podcast presented by Rouse's Markets.